My name is Lily. I am 24 years old. I finished college last year. Now I am looking for a good job. It is not easy to find work. Also, I have student loans. This means I owe money for my school, so I do not have much money right now. One day, I got a beautiful card in the mail. It was an invitation. My older brother, Mark, was getting married. His fiancée's name is Chloe. I was happy for Mark. He is my only brother and we are close. I opened the card. It was thick and felt special. Inside it said, "You are invited to the wedding of Mark and Chloe in Bali." Bali is a beautiful island. It is very far away from my home, and I knew immediately that it would be very expensive. My smile went away. Bali. I looked at the details on the card. The wedding was not just for one day. It was planned for a whole week. The card listed hotel names. They were very nice hotels. I knew that staying there for 7 nights would cost a lot of money. I sat on my small sofa in my small apartment. I looked around my simple room. I thought about my bank account. Like my room, my bank account was also very, very small. How can I go to Bali? I thought to myself. It seems impossible with no job and loans. I quickly looked online on my computer. I needed to see the prices. Flights to Bali were so much money. Just one flight was many hundreds of dollars. The hotel for a week was also many hundreds of dollars. Then I would need new clothes to wear to a wedding. That would be maybe $100. And a gift for Mark and Chloe, maybe $50. I added the numbers in my head. Flight, hotel, clothes, gift. The total was too much. Much too much money for me right now. My heart felt heavy in my chest. I really wanted to see Mark get married. He is my brother. I love him, but Bali felt like a place I could not reach. This perfect, expensive wedding felt very far from my simple life as a person who just finished school, had no job, and had big student loans to pay back. I knew this situation was a problem. A very big problem for me and my family. 2. A difficult talk. I needed to tell Mark. I called him. My hands felt a little shaky as I held the phone. "Mark," I said, "I got the invitation. It is really beautiful." "Lily, great, so you are coming, right? Chloe is so excited about you being there." Mark sounded very happy, which made it harder. My stomach felt tight. "Mark, about that Bali it's very expensive for me right now. I don't think I can afford it." There was silence for a few seconds. Then Mark said, "What do you mean, Lily? It's my wedding. You have to be there. It's the most important day." His voice was not happy now. It was cold. I know, Mark, and I want to be there very much, but I simply cannot afford the trip, I explained. I tried to keep my voice calm and clear. Oh, he said. He sounded disappointed and a little angry. Well, Chloe and I have been planning this for a year. It's our special day. Can't you just take out a small loan or put the cost on a credit card? It's really important that you are there. For family. Family comes first. A loan for a wedding trip. The idea felt completely wrong to me. My mind shouted, no. I did not want more debt, not for a holiday, even a wedding holiday. Mark, I really don't want to get a loan for this, I said quietly. I can celebrate with you here before you go to Bali. We can have a special dinner together. And when you come back too, we can look at the photos. That's not the same, Lily, he said, his voice getting much louder now. Chloe will be so upset. We both will be very upset. I expect my sister to be at my wedding. It's not fair if you are not there, no matter what the cost is. He hung up the phone before I could say anything else. I felt awful. Tears came to my eyes. My own brother was angry with me. Did he truly not understand my situation? Later that day, Chloe called me. Her voice was very sweet. Maybe too sweet, like honey. Lily, darling, she said softly. Mark told me you're worried about the cost. Please don't be silly. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event for Mark and me. Think of all the wonderful memories we will make. We really, really want you there with us. It wouldn't feel complete without Mark's little sister. Family is so important, isn't it? More important than money. Her words were meant to make me feel very guilty. And they did a little. But still, the money was a very real problem. Chloe, I understand how important it is, I said. But the money, it's simply not possible for me right now. I cannot find that much money. Her sweet voice suddenly became a little sharp, like a hidden edge. Well, I guess some people don't think family is the most important thing in life, she said coldly. Then she hung up the phone too, without saying goodbye. My parents also called me later that evening. They said Mark was very sad that I would not come. They said I should try harder to find the money, maybe ask friends or family for help. I felt a lot of pressure from everyone, Mark, Chloe, my parents. It felt like everyone was pushing me. But I knew deep inside that I could not get into debt, big debt, for 1 week in Bali. I told them no again. My heart felt heavy and it ached, but I stayed strong in my decision. I would not go. 3. A strange feeling. The weeks before the wedding were not easy. My family felt cold towards me. Mark did not call. When I saw my parents, they did not smile at me like before. It was uncomfortable. Mark and Chloe were at my parents' house one evening. Mark did not look at me much. Chloe was very sweet, but it felt false. She asked about my job search in a way that made me feel small. "Oh, still no luck, dear," she said, patting my hand. It did not feel real. There was something strange about how much they wanted me at the wedding. Yes, I am Mark's sister, but the pressure felt too strong. Mark was usually more understanding, and Chloe's sweetness felt like a mask. It was more than just wanting family there. One evening, I was in the living room at my parents' house. Mark and Chloe were in the kitchen. I heard parts of their conversation. Chloe's voice was not sweet now, it was hard. "She has to be there, Mark. It needs to look perfect," Chloe said. Mark sounded tired. I know, I'm trying. But what if she really can't? Then we have a problem. My mother will ask questions. Everyone will ask questions if your own sister isn't there. Chloe's voice was sharp. Her mother? Why was Chloe's mother so important? Why did it need to look perfect for her? This was strange. Most people want family at a wedding for love, not because everyone will ask questions. A strange feeling started in my mind. What was the real reason they wanted me there? Why was this expensive Bali wedding and my being there so incredibly important to Chloe? It felt like more than a simple wedding wish. I could feel it. That night, I could not sleep. I thought about Chloe. She was beautiful. She worked in art. She seemed to have rich friends. Mark was very in love with her, but I knew very little about her past. She never talked much about it. I turned on my old laptop. Maybe the internet could tell me something. I typed Chloe Davies into the search bar. I just felt uneasy. For a big secret. I started looking online for Chloe. It was not easy. I searched her name, Chloe Davies. There were many photos of her with Mark. They looked happy. But I found nothing about her past life before Mark. I looked for some nights. I was almost ready to stop. Then I had an idea. I searched for the art gallery where she worked a few years ago. I looked for old news or blogs about the gallery. One evening, I found an old blog post about an art show. There was a photo of people at the show, and a list of names. One name was Chloe DeVere. I looked at the photo. A woman in the photo looked very much like Chloe. She was younger, her hair was different. But her eyes were the same. Chloe DeVere? Why a different last name? I searched online again. This time, I searched for Chloe DeVere, and I found something important. I found an old website about weddings and parties. On this site, I saw an old announcement. It said, Mr. Alastair Finch is happy to announce his engagement to Ms. Chloe DeVere. Alastair Finch was a very rich man. He was much older than Chloe. The announcement was from about 5 years ago. There were pictures of them. Chloe DeVere looked happy and beautiful in the pictures. I kept searching. Then I found an old article from a magazine online. It was a small article, like a story about famous people. The article said that the engagement between Alastair Finch and Chloe DeVere was finished. It said that friends of Mr. Finch told the magazine that he found out about Chloe's big debts. Debts she did not tell him about. The article said that Mr. Finch was very angry. Some people said he called her a gold digger. My heart started beating fast. A different name. An engagement to a rich man. Big debts she hid. He called her a gold digger. This Chloe DeVere tried to marry a rich man, Alastair Finch, but he stopped the wedding because she hid her money problems. Now she was Chloe Davies marrying my brother Mark. Mark is not as rich as Alastair Finch, but he has money. And Chloe wanted a very, very expensive wedding in Bali. Suddenly, I understood many things. Why Chloe wanted the wedding to be perfect. Why she wanted me there, even if I could not afford it. Maybe she wanted to show people from her past that she was marrying well, that her new life looked good. I felt sick in my stomach. My brother Mark was marrying a woman who hid things, a woman who might want his money. I found this big secret because I could not go to her expensive wedding. 5. The wedding day. The day of the wedding came. It was a Saturday. For me, it was a quiet day at home. It was sunny outside, but my feelings were not bright. I felt sad because I was not with my brother Mark. It was his wedding day. I missed him. But I also felt worried about him. I knew something about Chloe. It was a big secret. I felt heavy in my heart. I tried to read a book, but the words did not stay in my head. I thought about Mark, far away in Bali. Was he happy? Was everything really perfect? I looked at my phone. It was quiet. No calls or messages from Mark or my family. It felt strange to be so far away from such a big family event. Later, I looked online. Some people were posting photos, Mark and Chloe in Bali. There were many pictures of the wedding. The beach looked beautiful. There were many flowers. The tables looked very nice. Everything looked expensive and perfect, just like Chloe wanted. Then I saw photos of Mark and Chloe. Chloe wore a beautiful white dress. She looked like a princess. Mark wore a suit. He was smiling in the photos, but I looked closely at his eyes. They looked a little tired, I thought. I saw photos of guests, smiling and happy. I saw a photo of Chloe with an older woman. The words under the photo said, "Chloe and her wonderful mother." This must be the mother Chloe talked about. The one she wanted the wedding to look perfect for. I looked at Chloe's happy face in the pictures. She looked so happy and beautiful. But I remembered the other things I found online. I remembered the name Chloe DeVere. I remembered the old story about the debts and the rich man. It was hard to look at the happy photos and know the secret. My hand went to my phone. Should I call Mark? Should I tell him now? On his wedding day? My mind said no. It was too late. They were getting married, or maybe they were already married. He would be angry. He would say I was trying to ruin his special day. Maybe he would not believe me at all. I put the phone down. I could not tell him now. It felt wrong. It would be too hard for him and for everyone. I had to wait. I would wait until he came back home from Bali. Then I would talk to him. I closed my computer screen. The happy photos were gone, but the secret was still there. I stayed home on the wedding day, but I knew something important, something that could change everything for Mark. It was a quiet day, but inside my thoughts were very loud. The wedding was far away, perfect in the pictures, but the truth was here with me. It was not just about money anymore. It was about the truth and about lies. I had to wait to tell him. 6. Telling the truth. Mark and Chloe came back from their Bali honeymoon. It was 1 week later. They looked tired from the long trip. My parents had a small dinner for them. It was not easy. Chloe was polite to me, but not friendly. Mark hugged me, but it was a quick hug. Our family felt strange after the wedding problem. The next day, I knew I had to speak. I could not keep the secret I found. It felt wrong. I printed the papers I found online. One paper was about Chloe DeVere and Alistair Finch. It was an old announcement. The other paper was the small article. It talked about the broken engagement and the debts. My hands were shaking a little when I held them. I went to Mark and Chloe's apartment. It was their new home together. It was nice inside. Chloe opened the door. She looked surprised to see me. Her smile was small. "Lily," she said, "why are you here?" "Is Mark here?" I asked. "I need to talk to both of you." My voice was not loud, but it was firm. Mark came to the door. "Lily, what is it?" he asked. We went to the living room. We all sat down. I took a deep breath. "Mark, Chloe," I started. "I found some information. It is about Chloe's past. I think you should know it." Chloe looked at me quickly. Her eyes were sharp. "What information?" she asked. I put the 2 papers on the table in front of them. "Chloe," I said, "were you engaged before? to a man named Alistair Finch. Did you use a different name, Chloe DeVere? Chloe looked at the papers. Her face became very white. Mark looked at the papers, then at Chloe. He looked confused. "Chloe, what is this?" he asked. Chloe stood up fast. She looked very angry. "This is crazy," she shouted. "Lily is just jealous. She is angry because she did not come to the wedding. She wants to make problems. How can you do this, Lily?" "Jealous," I said. I stood up too. "I am worried about my brother. This article says Mr. Finch ended the engagement because you hid big debts. It calls you a gold digger. Is this true, Chloe?" Mark looked from Chloe to me. His face was shocked. He looked very surprised and hurt. "Chloe," he asked quietly, "is any of this true?" 7. The real story. Chloe looked at Mark. Her eyes were full of tears. "Mark, darling, please don't listen to her," she cried. "She's trying to break us up." Mark looked at the papers again. Then he looked at Chloe. He was hurt and confused. "Chloe, just tell me. Were you engaged to this Alistair Finch? Did you use the name Chloe DeVere?" Chloe nodded slowly. Tears fell down her face. "Yes," she whispered. "A long time ago. It was a mistake." She tried to smile sadly. He was not a good man." "And the debts?" I asked quietly. "The article says he broke it off because you hid large debts." Chloe looked at me quickly, her eyes angry. Then she turned back to Mark, her face soft again. "I did have some money problems back then, Mark," she said. "I was young. I made some bad choices. But it wasn't like that article says. Alistair was controlling. I wanted to leave him, and he got angry and told lies." "So the Bali wedding," Mark started. His voice was very quiet. "All the money, was it to show something? To people from your past?" Chloe did not answer for a moment. She played with her wedding ring. "The wedding was for us, Mark," she said, but her voice was not strong. "I wanted it to be perfect. Yes, maybe I wanted to show some people that I was happy, that I was successful." She looked down at her hands. "My mother, she always compared me to my cousins. They all married well." Mark sat down heavily on the sofa. He looked very tired. "So, you weren't completely honest with me about your past, Chloe. About your money before we met." Chloe started to cry more. "I was afraid, Mark. I was afraid you wouldn't love me if you knew I wasn't perfect, if you knew I'd made mistakes, that I had debt before. I paid it off before I met you. I truly did. I love you, Mark. You have to believe me." But the trust between them was broken. Mark looked at her, then at me, then at the papers on the table. The perfect picture of their marriage, the one they made for Bali, was not perfect anymore. It was cracking. I need to think," Mark said. He stood up and walked out of the room. Chloe was crying loudly now. I stood there. The truth was out. It was not a happy truth. It was just sad and difficult. 8. A new start. The weeks after the truth came out were difficult for everyone. Mark and Chloe talked a lot. It was hard. Sometimes they were angry, and sometimes they were sad. Mark needed time to think about everything that happened. Mark decided to move out of the apartment he shared with Chloe. He went to stay with a friend for a while. He was trying to understand the lies and the truth. Chloe was very sad. She called my parents many times, crying. She said she still loved Mark and that she was very sorry she did not tell him everything before. After a few weeks, Mark and Chloe made a decision. They decided to separate. The trust between them was gone because of the lies. They knew they could not stay married. Mark said Chloe was going to move back to the city where her mother lived. One evening, Mark called me. His voice was quiet and serious. "Lily," he said, "I want to say sorry." I waited. "I am sorry for being angry with you about the wedding," he said. "I am sorry I put pressure on you to go." I told him it was okay, but he said, "No, it's not okay. You were right not to get into debt for it." He thought for a moment. "Maybe if you came, I wouldn't have found out the truth. You're staying home. It showed me the truth." He said he felt stupid for not seeing it before. We talked on the phone for a long time that night. It felt good. It felt like we were brother and sister again. Our relationship started to heal after the wedding problems. Life slowly started to feel normal again for me. It was a new kind of normal. My family understood my decision now. They saw that I was being careful with my money. Then, some good news came for me. I received a job offer. It was a good job in a company I liked. I was so happy. Finally, I could start paying my student loans. I could start building my own future. This job felt like a real new beginning for me. I learned a lot from everything that happened. I learned that having expensive things does not always mean you are happy. I learned that being honest is very important, even when it is difficult. And I learned that sometimes saying no is the strongest and best thing you can do. My decision about the wedding started a difficult time, but maybe it helped my brother in the end. And for me, my new job was my own new start.